Woo! Hey guys, welcome back to BleepinJeep. I'm Matt.
And I'm Josh.
Back again working on the banana peel. If you don't know the banana peel, this is a stripped down TJ. It's basically a cart. You guys know Cletus McFarland, right? He made that cart out of a, what was it that he made it out of?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He made this cart out of a car. Well, we're making a cart out of a Jeep, but instead of being a road cart, it's gonna be an off-road rock crawler. At least that's the hope. So we're taking this thing completely stock, just pulling parts off of it, adding back the safety features, and it's going to, hopefully, our plan is to make it into a rock crawler for super cheap. We bought this thing for $2,000, haven't put a dime into it except for some safety stuff, seat belts, roll cage. But other than that, we're gonna see if we can make it into a rock crawling beast for $0. So in the last video, you saw it running and driving, and you may have thought it was finished, but it's not. We have this list. We actually have two lists because Josh has his own list for whatever reason.
It's the same list.
It's the same list. But by the end of this video, this thing is going to be completely finished off-road rock crawling machine, and then we're going to take it out and do some fun off-road wheeling. Are you ready to complete this list?
I'm ready to complete the list.
Let's go over the list. We've got axle tabs. Those are tabs that we're going to weld on the axle to tie them down to the trailer, because obviously you're not going to be driving this thing on the street. Those we sell at BleepinJeep.com, and it makes quick and easy connections. Oh, here they are right there. Quick and easy connections for your straps when you're strapping down to a trailer. We need some fire extinguisher mounts. We need the seat belts permanently mounted because they're a little floppy right now. We need to do a little bit of painting. We have the tub, and I've got an idea to make this thing look even more like a Jeep with a couple of parts off the tub. We need to figure out what we're gonna do with these things. Have you come up with an idea for that yet?
Just wheelie bars.
Wheelie bars. We need to get some traction going by welding the diff. We've got a Spartan locker coming for the front. I know we said we weren't gonna spend any money, but maybe we're selling parts off of what we took off.
We definitely are selling parts off what we took off. And you could weld the front.
You wouldn't be able to steer.
It wouldn't steer well.
That would be a little tricky. We need a couple zip ties here and there. We've also got a winch because that's kind of like safety. You don't want to get trapped in the woods forever. Josh brought a little bit of windshield today. We're gonna do a little bit of cheap, on the cheap beadlocks. Not real beadlocks, but like a free style beadlock. All right, there's a bunch of other things on this list. I won't bore you with those. Let's just get started.
Check that out. Remember the big hole we put it in the tire in the first obstacle, and we had the big wad of plugs? Well, check out the other video that is either out or coming out soon on how we permanently fix that.
Josh, you know something? In that first video there was a few new subscribers, and they called me out for being a newbie to wheeling and just learning how to wheel. And that's why I punctured a hole in the tire.
Oh, well, you noob.
Such a noob.
What's first?
How about you go off your list and I'll go off my list. And we'll just start knocking things off of each list.
Okay, that works.
All right, so first on my list is a little bit of safety. So we've got these, we just attached these because we hit the road real quick to test this thing out, but that's not ideal. We need something that's kind of horizontal here to hold the seat belt. So I'm gonna grab a piece of tube, weld that on here, that's gonna come off straight, and that way the seat belts aren't all wonky like that. Looks like Josh is over here marking every other lug. Can you guess why? You're gonna work out today, aren't you?
I am. I'm gonna get a workout for sure. We're gonna do an ag pattern. Ag tire pattern.
All right. All right, this is gonna be quick, down and dirty. I need you to sit in the seat there. This is gonna be real simple here. First, we just need to know where his shoulders are. Right there. This bar just needs to be slightly below that, not above it. And what I'm gonna do, hold that there, and then make a mark like so. Good enough. Then I'm gonna cut that angle here in the chop saw. Then do a little coping with the angle grinder here. Oh my goodness, you're going crazy over here with the grooving.
Max tracks.
How is the tire? Is it soft, hard? Got rocks in it? It does have rocks in it.
A couple in there. It's not too bad.
If you're not familiar, this thing is a tire groover. You buy this on eBay or whatever. They make cheaper ones. This one is one of the better ones, because if you're going to be grooving tires,
you get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for, and it's hard work.
Yes.
So
this is a day's worth of work.
You telling me you're going to be doing this all day long?
Pretty much.
Alright, there it is. You might be wondering why I didn't go all the way to here. Well, no need. That's the real answer. That'll be quick and easy and lighter. So I got these Corbeau harnesses because I do like them, because these shoulder pieces, which I rarely use, kind of go to the back and out of the way. They're not attached to the bottom piece. But the problem with that in this situation is when you go to step out, that thing goes on the ground, or it could get in here in the drive shaft, which would be really bad. So I ordered PRP, and the difference on the PRP harnesses, which you'll see when they get here shortly, this shoulder harness is sewn to the bottom so that when you go to take off your lap belt, it just will hang right here. It can't dangle. The only problem with that is you pretty much have to use your shoulder harnesses all the time, which is a good thing, but also can be kind of annoying. All right, I was gonna mark that off the list, but I can't do that yet because I don't have the seat belts. Amazon didn't come today. You still making progress?
Still making progress.
All right, so next on the list, I've actually got something that's gonna be really cool, but we have to make a short little trip. All right, here's what I'm looking for. I think if we can add this tailgate back into the equation, it's gonna make this thing look cool from the front and the back. At least that's the goal. Let's see if we can get this thing off. Don't be rusty. It's rusty. Oh yeah, got it. All right, peeps, check this out. So, my goal is to kind of put that back on there, just to make this look a little bit more presentable. Not much, just a tiny amount more presentable. These hinges, though, are way too big. I don't need anything that big, because I'm not gonna mount the tire off there anymore, I don't think. So we'll take these off. They also stick out into the tire area. And we'll figure out a way to get that attached. What the heck? Got it. That's galvanized. That's yuck. Alright, I still need to cut this yet, but let's see how this works. Oh yeah, I had some little shims in there to hold that off. And I welded the back side. Now I just need to weld these little holes. I drilled some holes in these hinges, even though these were weld-on hinges, so that I could just have a little more weld on them. Now, once I get that welded in place, I'll need to figure out the latching mechanism here. Okay, are you ready for the first test? Oh yeah! Look at that. Looks just like a TJ. I mean, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that's a TJ. People are going to be so confused when they pull up behind this thing and they're like, oh, that's a TJ buggy. And then they get up beside it and they're like, oh, what is that?
It's a thing.
You're making a mess.
I'm offsetting all the weight we keep adding to this thing.
That is probably a lot of weight, but it's low weight. We like low weight. Josh had a good idea there to store the jack, so there's just enough room that the jack fits in there, and then this closes and it locks it in actually. We'll probably put a strap on it or something, and then we can put the handle here. You could even put, I don't know, some more storage stuff back there. Maybe your cooler or food, snacks. So on this tube, all I did was drill a hole in it and I welded the piece that holds the door in place. And I put the same angle on it so that it kind of has a matching angle. I need to clean that one up, but otherwise, one more thing off the list. What's next? More tires?
Next thing on the list.
The only thing that we've successfully checked off is one that had a question mark on it. Alright, next up on the list of things that we can do, I can't remember where it is, but check this out. So right here, we have kind of a dangerous area where the drive shaft is spinning and your seat belt could be hanging, or you could accidentally, for whatever reason, put your foot or your hand down in there. Check out this. I've had this for years. I bought a cooler a long time ago. I cut it apart one year. You guys might recognize or seen that in the background on the wall, so that came from it. Those two signs up there came from it, and then these were just extra pieces that we had lying around, and they happened to be yellow, so I thought it would be pretty cool to cut that out since it matches and just weld it on there, or maybe have some bolts so that we could take it off in case we ever need to change the drive shaft or something, which you could easily get to it from here, but just in case we want to fiddle with something, it might be nice to be able to take it off quick. So let's say we need about, we'll start 15. We could probably do 16, so 16 by 14 and a half. All right, we got 14 and a half. And 16. That's cool because these old signs weren't just stickers, they were actually embossed and then painted.
And it's yellow.
And it's yellow. Alright, we'll do this quick and easy. I got a piece of wood, a couple clamps, and I'm just gonna try to... Nope, that ain't gonna happen. See if that does the trick. It's going to be way off now because that's bent at an angle. Good enough for government work. I cut that back a little bit. This mic can sit more flush here. Okay. Oh yeah. Look at that. Drink your knee high. I wonder what knee high is now. Is that Pepsi or is it just extinct? Have you ever had a knee high beverage?
Maybe. Maybe back in the day.
I guess knee high owned Royal Crown. I've had a Royal Crown.
Yeah.
The RC Cola. Basically tasted like Pepsi.
Pretty much.
Did knee high have a knee high flavor? It seems like if knee high was a flavor, it would be orange.
Yeah.
Let us know down in the comments below, you old fogies.
That's a lot of rubber. See all that extra rubber there? They didn't need to put on there. What a waste.
We could make a playground with this.
Yeah. If everybody just drove on mud tires, we'd be saving the environment.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, the whole vehicle looks way more aggressive now after that.
After those tires.
Yeah.
This isn't my original thought of an ag tread. This one actually started out different than what I did the rest of them. So these are kind of in too much of a line right here. So I changed it so they're not so much in a line. You don't want to use something bogger style when you're rock crawling because there's no lateral grip, like side to side. So if you're side hilling, you'll slide. It works great in mud or maybe hill climbs, but you want offset this way. That way it won't slide sideways. So in the center here, you have your 3 bars, which will give nice grip trying to climb stuff, but these extra 2 here will help with side hilling. My arm's a little tired.
We should start buying these tires, having you cut them, and then we'll sell them as Temu traps.
Those would be some expensive tires. If you guys want to see a whole video, how to cut tires, how to groove tires, we can do it. So put it in the comments if you want to see that. And if enough of you do that, then maybe we'll make a whole video on how to do it and the different ways you could do it, because there are different ways. And there's definitely a technique to it. But that's another thing off the list.
If I ever do it, I'm just going to cut my name into the tire. Does that work too?
Do BleepinJeep.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. Just do BleepinJeep all the way around.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun. We just need a blank tire and start off with a blank tire.
All right, just got our Amazon goodie pack in the mail here. Check this out. This is fine quality Horse Kingdom colorful driving. I wanted to put a seat cover on this just because if this thing gets wet while we're out there wheeling, it's going to be wet for a long time. So I figure might as well.
So he bought the most expensive one he could find.
It's either super cheap ones or really expensive ones. I couldn't find anything intermediate. It's not even yellow. I screwed up. Alright, that is the finest quality seat cover from the Horse Kingdom. Horse Kingdom Car Grand. What are you working on over there?
I'm getting ready to try to make a windshield. So this plexiglass comes from the screen of an old 60-inch projection TV.
Is it magnified so when we look through it everything's going to be bigger?
Yeah.
That would be great. Alright, here's that other harness. Check that out. They both have their pros and cons, but like I said, this one will keep it from draping on the ground, which will be nice. So all these harnesses typically come with a bolt-on application like that, but what I do is I just take that out and then I put it around the bar instead. So just pull it out like that and then take that out. Save that for something, and then this will just go around the bar and back through instead of using that piece. Alright, there we go. Now that's not going to come off, but if you were worried about it, you could tighten this down. That way it wouldn't have a... I lost the audience there. Something else I like to do when these come from the factory, the extra material is on the top, and that kind of just looks ugly to me. I'm sure they do that on purpose because it's a little easier to fix it. I prefer to take that extra and put it underneath on the bottom so you don't have to deal with that extra material being on the top and out, you know, too long and having to deal with it somehow. So just take that, pull this out, toss that, and then get it about the length that you want. Gonna go make some extra material there, and I like to go back on the bottom side instead of the top side. You would have to do that around the tube if we didn't have an open tube like this. And now we'll just slip that over the top. Oh, I need to loosen it. There we go. I might have to cut some of this excess off.
Yeah.
Do I look professional?
Like we put wings on this thing and you're gonna fly.
Like a race car driver. Oh, that is even more professional. Oh, now I am ready for some speed right there.
You got your driving shoes? Perfect.
Yeah, but did you see this? You know, Josh, I was thinking I was gonna have to make a helmet stand for this thing, but it's got a built-in helmet stand.
Yeah, look at that.
If you need two, you put one there and one that side. This thing's gonna be sweet. I hope that's not scratches and just some dirt. We're gonna be able to see through it.
Yeah, it's made of dirt.
Here's another thing. Is the wind just gonna push it right through?
How fast are we going?
Really, really fast. I mean, this is a race cart. It'll be fine. This thing's looking jankier by the second. So, we still got quite a few things to do on the list, but we're gonna continue on this in the morning because it's getting late. We'll see you guys in a minute. Welcome back, boys and girls. We've been working hard on this thing this morning, but right now it's lunchtime and the lunch lady brought us some food down to the shop today. Let's go see what she's got. Lunch lady, I'm here to see what you brought us today. Everybody's so excited.
Yeah, they're so excited.
Yeah, they are.
All right. I brought
Oh, look at this.
chicken fried steak.
I got this Dr. Pepper clock from Jake of All Terrains. He's got a Instagram and YouTube, I think.
And then like potato pocket.
Okay, say what now?
It's like a potato pocket.
Chicken fried steak and potato pocket.
and corn.
That looks good, whatever that is. Does this go on top like that?
I mean, why do you always ask me how food needs to go together? Like you're not a grown up, you can make that up too.
And some corn. Yummy. Oh, gravy. Josh, this is a potato pocket. Kind of like a hot pocket, but with potatoes.
Is there anything inside it?
Cheese.
Potatoes.
Cheese.
So it's a stuffed potato pancake.
Hot pocket. Babe, everybody wants you to start posting your recipes every day.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
They want your recipes.
Uh-huh. Well, this included a frozen steak, chicken fried steak. I only made the patty, and that's canned corn. It's amazing.
All right, that was a good lunch. So before lunch this morning, we got the front and rear capped on the frame. That's gonna keep us from scooping mud out of there, hopefully. Tabs, some shackles welded on back here for pulling. This thing's gonna be such a torque monster. We'll be able to pull everybody out. Also got the fire extinguisher mounted up right here, but most important, got the tail wing mounted up. Now that is going to let us get all that downforce as we're going so fast through the trail. It's just going to stick to everything. So now we're really close, but we need to dig into the internals of the differentials. So we're going to pull this thing on the lift. We're going to weld up the rear diff. We're going to put a Spartan locker in the front diff and maybe do some redneck diff cover engineering. That steering looks so tiny.
It is.
Let's see how clear that fluid is.
You got it.
Mmm, yummy. Doesn't look too bad.
No.
Alright, so Josh is pulling that cover. He's going to install this. This is a lunchbox locker, specifically the USA Standard Gear and Axle Spartan locker. And you mentioned that you liked this one in particular because you've used it before, and
this is the one that held up the best, that didn't break the pins all the time because it has the thickest pins. The Lockrite I broke and I hadn't even moved yet. I put it down on the concrete, went to back up, and it broke the pins.
well, that's installer error.
That was right.
So what he's talking about are these little pins, and these are in every lunchbox locker, and it's kind of what actuates the locker, but that's typically the fail point. And these pins are bigger than the ones I've dealt with in the past, so maybe that's good. Lunchbox locker is a good cheap option if that's what you want to go with, if you're just like a weekend warrior or whatever. But I prefer running a spool or a grizzly, but in this case, we're just trying to go cheap.
Lunchbox locker, what really hurts them is when you break a shaft. If you break a shaft, it's going to break the pins in the locker.
Transfers all that energy.
Yeah.
So on the back axle, I'm going to link and lock that, so we're going to open this and weld it. But for right now, I'm going to install these. Now these are our BleepinJeep tie-down tabs. You can get these on our website. It just makes it so much easier and simpler to tie down when you're on the trailer, and I'll show you here in a second how that works. But let me get this tacked in. Alright, so here's what that's for. Bam, you're tied down to your trailer. You don't have to worry about axle straps or getting straps wrapped around your brake lines. You just drive this up on the trailer, snatch that in, then your strap on the other side goes to the trailer. Bam, you're tied down. You might be asking, does that get in the way? No, it doesn't really get in the way. And one of the reasons that the BleepinJeep ones are the best, there's a couple companies that make these, but the BleepinJeep ones are the best because I've made them as small as possible while still retaining the ability to hook to a max strap or those double straps, which I don't recommend because they don't have a closure, but it will accept those as well. What's got going on over here?
You need to punch this pin out.
Oh, it's got a drift punch holder.
Yeah, so that's another difference between the WJ and this. Mine was an Allen.
Yeah. It looks like that pin will come out without hitting the ring gear.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see what this has in store for us. Oh yeah. So, based off of this tag, this is a 307 ring gear, which is very high for what we're doing. I'm going to clean all this out, and because we're welding it, make sure you use non-chlorinated parts cleaner, otherwise you're going to kill yourself. We do have a good video, an older video on this, on how to make a Lincoln locker, how to weld your diff, how to make a rear locker, whatever it's called. That's really good if you want the whole detailed process. But basically, if you look in here, those are your spider gears right there. And those spider gears are what allow you to have an open diff and go around corners. Because when you go around a corner, that inside tire is going to spin at a different speed than the outside tire. And these spider gears are what allow that to happen. So without going into great detail, what we need to do is to eliminate the spidering of those spider gears by welding them all together. So what we're going to do is weld here, 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 here. We still want to be able to take the pin out and take the C-clips out and remove the axle shafts, but everything else is going to get welded together. And what that's going to do is basically create a spool or a permanent locker. After you do that, you won't be able to go to the gas station parking lot without making a lot of noise going around turns. So that's the downside, but the positive side is you just made a really cheap locker or a really cheap spool, and you're going to have a lot more traction because both of your tires are going to turn together rather than just one at a time. Alright, before you weld, you want to burn all that off. It's also flammable, so you're going to get that. Just let that cut for a minute. There we go. Maybe I'll just do this all day. I'll just be a pyro all day. So what we're trying to do, guys, is get all of the oil and grease out of here. All right, I've done as much drying as I've had the patience for, so I'm just gonna weld the spider gears together around the outside here and here and here and here. Then we'll flip it and do the other side. Welding it as hot as you can get it. Josh getting after it with the heat.
Yeah, it's stuck in there good.
All right, so back here, that's about what you want. And then we're gonna rotate this.
That's it.
All right about there. And we'll do the same thing. Got this side welded up. Now we wanna get as much of that junk out of there as possible. So we have an air gun. Got this little scrubber, and any of these little pieces that are just barely hanging on, we're gonna knock those off as well. The reason we're doing this is just to keep all that metal from getting in your ring and pinion, which will just wear it out faster. I'm gonna let that cool off a little bit. We'll go check out what Josh is doing over here. What are you doing?
Building a locker.
So if you guys are wondering why we're not also welding the front, well, we thought about it, and you could. The problem with that is it doesn't turn very well at all after you do that. You can do that, like comp buggies do it all the time, but they have full hydro steering, that is. And that helps them push through the turn and push the steering even though they're both locked together. Now we could have done a hydro assist and welded the front, but the hydro assist is way more expensive than the Spartan locker, which I think was, this was 200 bucks. In reality, we weighed our options, and this was the cheapest option, and so that's what we're going with. And I know that we said we weren't gonna add any parts, we're just subtracting parts, but we added one.
If you wanted to, you could weld it and fight it.
Or you could just go open diff. You're not going to get nearly the places with an open diff as you will a locker.
It's not a rock crawler if you have open diffs.
Now this is what I'm concerned about right here.
Yes.
We'll try it and see what happens, but even if we sleeved that, it would be better than this little tiny thing. I mean, I could almost bend that just by hand.
I would say for $100 and get one of those kits that I got in the correct,
With the wrong heims.
with the correct heims.
So that kit that he got the other day that we were talking about on camera, it had the incorrect heims.
2 of them were right, but 2 of them were wrong.
So are you going to get away with just being able to pull one axle shaft out slightly?
I think so. I hope so. It's going to be tight.
Some of these lockers you can build in the carrier like this. Some you have to take out of the carrier. Some you have to pull axle shaft slightly out, and so that's what he's trying to do, that as minimal effort as possible. One thing I did want to show you guys, though, remember when I would spin the tire before with an open carrier, they would spin opposite. So with an open carrier, if you spin this one forward, that one spins backwards. But now that this is locked, they are locked together. So this one goes forward, that one goes forward. And what that means is we're going to have 2 tires spinning at all times. If you remember when we wheeled this stock factory open diff, when one tire came off the ground, that was the one that was spinning, because it always sends power to the one that has the least amount of traction. So that's what gets you with an open carrier. But with this, both are always going to be spinning together all the time, no matter what. Great for off-road, bad for parking lots. Are those just temporary keepers?
Yes. I don't know what the bottom hole's for. I knew it one time.
Are you going to need to know before you finish this?
No, I don't think it's important. Maybe it was just a...
Maybe it's grease pressure release?
Yeah, pressure release. Let's see how much of a fight it is.
There we go.
There's one.
Alright, so this is a ratcheting locker, and the way it works is magic. So on these, if you're going around a corner in the gas, it's going to lock. So you kind of have to drive different. Like if you're going through a stoplight, you want to go forward on the gas and then let off the gas and then coast through the turn. And it'll be a lot smoother than if you try to power through the turn, because then it's going to lock up. There you go.
Alright.
Alright. So now that cross pin goes in the middle there and just locks everything back together. And then we'll have a functioning Spartan locker. Alright guys, make sure you're subscribed because in the next video we're going to show you how to make cheap bead locks without bead locks. We'll see you then.